Hello and welcome to SusyBLiving's What I Am Sowing in March. So I've already done a video of what leaves I will be sowing in March. So let's talk about what fruits I'm going to be sowing in March, because that's always quite exciting because fruits are really quite interesting, aren't they? So let me just have a look at my little list here. I've got a list in front of me and a list here as well as there. So I'll be looking in two places at once. So the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about sowing my second batch of cucumbers. So I've already sown one batch here at the end of February. That's done. And now I'm sowing my second batch of cucumbers. The first batch are going to be staying inside for most of the time. So I will be putting them in my dining room and working out some kind of system of how they're going to grow, because I want really early cucumbers. This batch are going to be going into the greenhouse. So it's the same cucumber. It's a cucumber called Baby and it's an F1. It's a great cucumber. It has tiny little cucumbers on it. They call it a lunchbox cucumber, and it's a mini little cucumber. I think that it's one of the sweetest cucumbers that I've ever found. You can harvest the cucumbers from about 3 inches up to about 6 inches in length. It's a really prolific. It has resistance to powdery mildew, so that's fantastic as well. They say that you can grow it outside as well as the greenhouse, and it's ideal for beds, for borders, for pots. Fantastic, but it does need full sun. So that's my cucumber that I will be sowing. Let's continue on. What else have we got here? I've got a tomato, so let me find my tomato here. I've already sown one tomato, and that was Red Profusion, so that they're doing really well. They're in 11 centimeter pots now. The next one that I am going to sow is a Tumbler. It's Tumbler F1 tomato. They were really hard to find because they're sold out everywhere. These are fabulous tomatoes. So this is kind of like my second early sowing. I'm going to start them inside and then I'm going to move them out into the greenhouse in early May, maybe. I'm going to grow them under fleece and in containers, and we'll see how they go. But they are fantastic, and again, really prolific as well. It's really vigorous. It's a British bred, and it's ideal for hanging baskets and containers on the patio as well. So if you don't have room like outside, and if you're worried about putting things in the ground, you don't need to. These are perfect. You can get up to like 4 kilos of fruit from one plant. They are fantastic. I'm going to be growing them in pots and probably hanging baskets. So that's that. The next fruit that I'm going to start is my melons. So I'm going to be only doing 2 to start, and these plants are going to go into the greenhouse once my kind of fruit trees all come out in May time. And the melon that I particularly like is one called Minnesota Midget. It's really an early maturing plant and melon. You get kind of nice little small, gorgeous flavored fruits. They're about 5 inches in diameter, really gorgeous. It's a kind of designer American melon, but it's become very popular here in this country. So I'll be doing a few of those as well. Another early fruit that I'm going to be doing is my first lot of French beans. And I've chosen a climbing French bean, and it's called Cobra. It is going to be sown here inside first of all, and then I'm going to move them into the greenhouse and let them grow in the greenhouse. That'll be interesting. I've not done that before, so this is kind of an experiment. So I'm going to be doing those, and I've chosen Cobra because it's really, really, really prolific, and it's a green bean and it's delicious. That's why I've chosen it. It's very popular here in the UK. Right, another sowing. This is my second early sowing of courgette. I've done one sowing already. They haven't come up yet. By the way, one of my cucumbers has come up from the other sowing. This is going to be my second early sowing of courgettes, and these are going to be planted in the greenhouse so I can get an early crop. And the courgette that I've chosen, or zucchini, is called Zephyr. It's a yellow zucchini with like a green bottom on it, and it's a very, very attractive looking zucchini, and you will spot them a mile off because they're really, really good looking. Very, very strong bushy plants. They have a kind of firm nutty texture and flavor, very delicious. If you kind of harvest them about 6 inches long, fantastic. That is all my fruits. How are we going for time? Fantastic. So that's fruits. Okay, let's now talk about roots. What roots am I going to be growing? And then I can do flowers. So what roots am I going to be growing in March? First thing is I'm going to start a batch of Celeriac. If I can find it here. And it is called, there it is, goodness gracious, it's called Monarch. I like Monarch. It's a nice variety. It does really well here in the UK. And yeah, it's, you know, pretty, I don't know, I just find that it performs better than most varieties. So I'm just going to sow them on the surface of damp compost, put a plastic bag over the top, and they will be my main crop, Celeriac. They're slow to germinate, slow to grow, but they are, I think they're important that we have them. My celery's already up, so that's fine. So that's the Celeriac. The next thing I am going to be doing is my next lot of potatoes. So these are going to be the last of the really early planting potatoes, and I will be doing some more Swift because I've got some left, so I may as well finish them off. These are going to go directly into 11 centimeter pots. So the first sowing of potatoes I do in 2 litre pots, and these sowing I do in 1 litre pots because they grow really, really quickly. And then they were going to be going into containers in my greenhouses. So I have Swift I'm going to be doing, and some more Charlotte as well. So that's those. The next thing I will be doing is some more carrots. I actually sowed carrots today. So 2 varieties. The first one is the early Nantes 2, and the second one is a variety called Mokum as well. Quite hard to get hold of, but a delicious carrot. So this is going to be what I call my summer carrots by the time they're ready. I sow them into containers because I do all my carrots in containers. I was thinking about putting them in a raised bed, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to keep them in containers. And then I can, because in containers I can move them in and out of the greenhouse if I need to. They can be netted for carrot fly. I find them really successful doing it that way. So the early Nantes and the Mokum carrots. The last thing I'm going to be sowing is some ochre. I don't know whether you've grown ochre before, but ochre is it's a tuber, and you can get them in kind of a reddy color, or you can get them in a kind of yellowy color. You plant them whole, the tuber. You can cut them if you want to make more plants, but excuse me, I like to plant them whole. And then I put them in containers. They've got a really interesting taste. They have a kind of nutty, lemony taste, and they're a really good alternative to potatoes as well. They grow really well. They're not as fussy as potatoes. So I will be doing some ochre. I'll show you a picture of what they look like. They're my roots. And flowers for March, yes, I will be doing some more graffiti cauliflowers. They're the purple ones. They're my favorite cauliflowers. And I will be doing my favorite Calabrese or broccoli, which is the Marathon F1 as well. And they will be, I'm just going to have a look here and see. They're going to be all planted out kind of like early May. And they will be harvested for really nice big heads. I've got already on the allotment, I've got some purple graffiti and I've got some marathon. They are for the heads, but they're not going to be very, very big. What I'm not going to get from them is side shoots. But this, when I plant now in March, I'm going to get the heads, big heads, and I'm going to get side shoots as well. So that is what we call our main crop. And that is it. So that is what I am sowing in March. This video was fruits, roots, and flowers. And the other video, because I've got so many, was leaves. So get your seeds ready. I will, down below, I will put all the seeds, the varieties of the seeds. So yeah, get your seeds ready, because I tell you what, before you know it, March will be gone. And March, I always think February is an important time, but March is really important for getting your sowing going. All right, I will see you again for my the Moonphase days, in which I am going to be sowing all of this stuff. And happy growing. I'm Susie from SusyBLiving. Thumbs up and subscribe, because then you'll be on top of everything and really, really organized. See you later. Bye.